Hi, friends. My question is about your approach to analysing rumours/alleged leaks. Looking back, DF expressed well-founded scepticism over a variety of Switch Pro, Switch 2 rumours that turned out to be true, with interesting caveats. For example, an NVIDIA SoC that sounded uncharacteristically expensive for Nintendo, but actually was no longer premium by the time it finally reached market, or DLSS that could scale to 4K on low-power hardware, but requiring a light version with major compromises in motion. Even the rumoured Matrix demo making an impressive showing on target hardware now seems credible. Has this changed how you assess rumours about future hardware, that seemingly implausible rumours may actually turn out to be technically true, albeit with meaningful trade-offs? I'm going to tackle this one. If we go back to what we knew about Switch 2 SoC, is that it was an 8 nanometer part or a 10 nanometer part, as it actually turned out, a hybrid of the two, and I'm not sure we were ever sort of concerned about the expense of it, because it was an older node, an inexpensive node by that point, and by the time actually it came to market, it should presumably be quite cheap. And I think we were speculating at the time that NVIDIA had some sort of sweetheart deal with Samsung to make this viable. I think the discussion back then was all about basically the capabilities of the system using that node. And, I think at the time we were doing sort of projections and whatnot. I think those projections by and large turned out to be true to a certain extent. But I think the big caveat that we always said in every one of these simulations was, yes, this is what we're seeing here. The difference is, take a look at what developers achieved with Tegra X1. Which was like way out of scope of what we would have expected a Tegra X1 to achieve. And we fully expect the same thing to be happening with Switch 2. And I think that's kind of actually been borne out. The DLSS thing, I think, is actually a fair point, in that, the light version was something where I think the skepticism on that was like, well, who would actually create this? Don't know what you think, Alex. It was like, who would actually create this? And if it was NVIDIA, why would they create it as such? But it actually turns out that tiny DLSS, as we call it, is actually quite savagely cut back, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
It was savagely cut back in a way that we thought wouldn't work, but actually kind of does on a handheld screen, less so on a TV.
Yeah. So I think when the original video I did a long time ago, I can't even remember what year it was. It feels like an eternity ago, where I looked at it in games like, I believe, Death Stranding and a number of other titles, where I kind of said like, oh, this is really expensive at 4K. Doesn't really make sense there. Either they drop res or they make a different model, is kind of what I say, I think, in the video, if you go back to it. So I don't think we were really wrong there. It's just a matter of like, what does it bring them to make this special model of DLSS? And in NVIDIA's case, it's just we still don't actually have great clarification if it's a joint venture, these light preset models, or if it's just NVIDIA spinning their wheels doing it. I don't have any background confirmation of those things. But at the same time, it's like, it's using the DLSS name, but it isn't DLSS quality. But at this point in time, DLSS means a number of things. It means also DLSS CNN model. It means transformer model K. It means transformer model M and L. So I guess it is kind of been broken down into something that can be a more vague sense of quality, and it doesn't really matter. So in this case, I always err on the side of caution regarding leaks and stuff, because before consoles especially released, there's this huge hype train, like, it's gonna destroy this desktop PC graphics card that is very expensive. And it's always not that case, and it's good to maybe be a little bit more conservative so that the audience then doesn't have the huge disappointment wave, afterward. It's like, because like if I just said oh yeah, this is going to be amazing, it's not very critical. It doesn't really get to the heart of the matter usually if you act that way.
Yeah, I've got to take issue with Aaron's point here. The rumoured Matrix demo making an impressive showing on target hardware now seems credible. Is it, the Matrix demo was basically showing, Lumen, Nanite, virtual shadow maps. We've seen Lumen now in a highly sort of
in a very compromised way.
Yeah. Have we seen Nanite on Switch 2? I don't think so. Virtual shadow maps? I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure this exists, Rich.
I'm pretty sure it exists. So the question is as to how it actually manifests.
Right. Exactly. What features are there
on the real
exactly?
end?
Because
on the real end of hardware.
Yeah,
when you're looking at a small screen, especially at a trade show, it might be more difficult to pinpoint all the things that are there or not.
I think ultimately you've basically got to judge it by the actual quality of the shipping software that's got out there. So on the one hand, you've got this report of this fantastic Matrix Awakens demo. And I think DLSS 3.5 was being mentioned as being a part of it as well. And then at the same time, you've got Fortnite shipping without any of these features in a real world scenario. And you've got Lumen only deployed in a very selective environment that kind of makes sense for it.
I think we will see them on Switch 2 in time.
I mean, some of the stuff.
What compromises? Well, I don't know, but
yeah. I mean, we already have an idea for the roadmap, right, Alex, about how they're basically pulling back on Lumen to make it more efficient. And we know that there'll be CPU optimizations for Unreal Engine that are looking really, really good, which will obviously help Switch 2. But I'm not sure any of that stuff would have been available during the time of that Matrix Awakens demo. Yeah, I guess we kind of just need to see what that demo actually manifested like. And I think things would probably look a lot more things would make a lot more sense at that point.
If we had a hands-on of it, yeah.
Has this changed how you assess rumors about future hardware? I don't think so. I think you basically got to take an evidence approach based on what you know and what you think could happen. And, you've got to accept also that there's going to be stuff that you just don't have any awareness of whatsoever or any visibility on.